Hello everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, starseed astrologer and spiritual messenger from sacredsoulempowerment.com. Here to do your weekly angel card reading for Monday, June 1st through Sunday, June 7th, 2020. For this week's weekly reading, we will be using the Power Angel Tarot deck by Radley Valentine for the main message for everyone. We also have an extra card back here from the Archangel Divination deck, and that will be for everyone, for the collective as well. Your special message card this week, depending on your stone of choice, is going to be coming from the Black Moon Astrology cards by Susan Shepard. So let's take a look at what your stones of choice are for this week. The first stone of choice here is this beautiful sunrise sunset chrysocolla, or some call it Sonora sunrise or Sonora sunset chrysocolla. Now this particular stone actually has the vibration of peace and patience, tolerance and acceptance and tranquility. And it also helps to heal and release irrational anxieties, past traumas, and fears. Isn't that beautiful? I just love that. Okay, so let's take a look at the second stone of choice here. These are a little hard to get a hold of here because of the odd shape. This one is called Mango Quartz, and you can see that because of that mango coloring in there, Mango Quartz. This one helps us to find a sense of calm. It helps us to find our center, our balance, helps us to understand our actions and reactions to people and situations within our lives, and then helps us to move forward to find solutions to those actions and reactions. And then our last stone of choice here is Larimar. And Larimar is a stone that helps to facilitate inner wisdom and outer manifestation. It helps to bring in peace, clarity, healing, and unconditional love, and helps to dissolve self-sabotaging behaviors. So again, your stones of choice for this week are the Sonora Sunrise Sunset, the Mango Quartz, or the Larimar. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the energies of the week. You can't really see them, but I'm looking at my notes here, and we're going to talk about the astrology for the week. Now, it's interesting. We're in Gemini energy because we have Venus in Gemini, and she's currently retrograde in Gemini. We have the sun in Gemini as well. And I guess that's it, because actually last week Mercury was in Gemini, but halfway through the week last week it actually moved into the sign of Cancer. But we still have that heavy Gemini energy. And on Tuesday the 2nd of June, Venus retrograde in Gemini is going to be making a challenging aspect to Mars in Pisces. Now this is interesting because Venus rules the divine feminine, Mars rules the divine masculine. Venus rules women, Mars rules men. Venus is about love and relationships and partnerships and money and finances as well. And Mars is that warrior energy. He's the warrior, and he's all about energy and action and forward movement. Now, they're both in mutable signs right now. Gemini, where Venus is retrograde actually, is a mutable sign, meaning it's changeable, it's flexible, it shifts directions, and it's not very grounded or focused. Pisces, where Mars is also a mutable sign. So again, changeable, kind of going with the flow. There's not really any focused intention there, and Mars wants to focus. Mars wants to move forward with a focused energy, but in Pisces, he really can't do that so well. So now with Venus connecting to Mars, and it is a square aspect, and squares are challenging. To me, I think that there's probably going to be some relationship things going on because, again, we think of Venus and Mars as the lovers. And so there could be some relationship challenges that happen. There could be some doubts or misunderstandings or choices or lack of focus with decisions to be made and directions to be going. With all of this, again, mutable, changeable Gemini and Pisces energy. Now on Wednesday, there's a theme here going on because on Wednesday, the Sun, which is in Gemini, connects with Venus, retrograde in Gemini. So the Sun is shining its light upon Venus or highlighting the Venus energies. And again, Venus is in retrograde motion right now. So while Venus is retrograde, she's going over all of her options. You know, she's trying to logically understand and intellectualize all of her options right now in that sign of Gemini regarding relationships and partnerships, and whether that's romantic or business or friendships. There's, you know, it's just about relationships here, and also about finances and money. So the Sun is highlighting these areas. The Sun is highlighting that Venus retrograde need to go inward to kind of try to understand and bring some sort of logical conclusion or logical idea or logical understanding, I guess is the best way to say that. You know, Venus retrograde is trying to find some logical understanding to what's happening within relationship matters and financial matters right now, or personal resources. And then I'm going to jump over what's happening Friday for a minute, because on Saturday the 6th, the Sun in Gemini is now in that challenging aspect to Mars, where Venus was on Tuesday, the beginning of the week. Now the Sun is making that challenging aspect to Mars. And of course, again, Mars is still in Pisces, the Sun is in Gemini, so we still have this changeable, flexible, maybe misunderstanding, lack of clarity, confusing kind of energy. Because Gemini is the sign of the twins, and Gemini can vacillate back and forth. Now, it's usually about thoughts and ideas because Gemini rules the mental realm and thoughts and ideas. The Pisces energy is a water sign, so it, of course, rules our intuitions and our emotions and the spiritual realm. But again, there's this lack of focus. There's this lack of clarity going on. So when you combine those two signs together, Gemini and Pisces, with the respective planets of the Sun and in this case Mars, and earlier in the week Venus and Mars, we're having again a lot of kind of vacillation and not knowing what decisions to make, what road to take, what path to follow. What's really going on. It might not even be about decisions or paths to follow, but it just might be a lot of confusing energy and a lot of busyness and a lot of things happening and a lot of things changing right now. And what's happening on Friday, I think, is going to kind of pull all of that together in a sense, or it's going to intensify, maybe is a better way to say it, because we actually have a full moon lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Sagittarius on Friday, the 5th of June. Now, let's talk about what happens right before that lunar eclipse, and then I'll talk about the lunar eclipse. Right before that lunar eclipse, we have Mercury, which, as I said, has now already moved into the sign of Cancer, which it's not really comfortable with because Mercury is logical and intellectual, and Cancer is the sign of our emotions and our feelings and our intuition. So already Mercury is a little bit uncomfortable being in Cancer, and he's challenging Chiron, the wounded healer, in the sign of Aries. And I believe Chiron is actually slowing down right now, going to be getting ready to go retrograde. I don't recall exactly when, but it's going to be sometime this year here. So Chiron, bringing up wounds regarding our sense of self and our self-identity and our confidence and our courage and our individuality, because that's what Aries is all about. And now we have Mercury in Cancer challenging that or squaring that. So, you know, Mercury is about communications, but also about thoughts. So our thoughts might be a little bit challenged right now, our thoughts within ourselves, which is also going to be combined with our feelings and emotions because it's in the sign of Cancer. So we might be a little bit more sensitive, and we might take others' words a little bit more sensitively. So communications with others might pose a challenge to where it's setting off these Chiron wounds within regards to our individuality and our sense of self and our confidence, you know, self-confidence, as I mentioned earlier. Could be some miscommunications, you know, and Cancer is the sign of home and family too. So a lot of this could be within home and family dynamics. Although it can also be with our significant others, it can also be with our friends and whatnot, but it's with those people that we have a closer emotional bond to, usually, because Cancer is that nurturing emotional bond. but definitely within the family dynamics. Now that happens first on Friday, and then we have that full moon lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Sagittarius. Now, Sagittarius is the opposite sign of Gemini. So the sun is in Gemini, right, for a full moon. Whatever the full moon is in, the sun is in the opposite sign. So the moon for this full moon lunar eclipse is at 15 degrees Sagittarius. The sun will be at 15 degrees of Gemini. And remember, we talked about Venus and Mars and the sun kind of doing this dance together for most of the week, or pretty much all of the week. It's doing this dance of changeability and variability and unfocused and ungrounded and confusion and not being able to, have any sort of clarity. So this full moon is going to be heavy duty. Now, a full moon is heightening our emotions, expanding our emotions and emotional responses anyway. But this particular full moon is a lunar eclipse. It's the first of 3 eclipses that we're going to have. We're going to have a new moon solar eclipse 2 weeks from the 5th of June. And then I believe it's on the 4th of July, we have another full moon lunar eclipse. So 3 eclipses. And eclipses heighten and intensify the energies that are unfolding around us. And it's going to intensify the situations in our life that deal with endings and new beginnings. Now, this full moon lunar eclipse, full moons usually bring something to a head, and then there's a conclusion. The moon comes into its fullness, and it's concluded. That full moon is concluded and then starts to wane or lessen, and that's the letting go period. That's the ending. That's the conclusion. That's whatever it is that needs to be released. And Sagittarius, where this full moon lunar eclipse is, rules our belief systems. It rules our belief systems. And so it's our belief systems that are needing to shift, that are needing to change, that are going through some sort of conclusion, okay? We're going to be needing to shift our beliefs and what we believe to be true in our lives. Now, another thing that Sagittarius can be about, on more of its less than positive end, is judgments. So I want to say, as this full moon lunar eclipse is building up to happen, you might see a lot of judgments kind of flying around, a lot of people judging each other or judging groups or judging situations or, whatever it might be out there in the ethers. And Sagittarius is pretty direct and opinionated too. They don't beat around the bush. So when they communicate, they usually just kind of that communication, their thought kind of equals it being said. They don't censor it. They don't wait. They don't think about it. Sag is kind of just, boom, it's out there. It's fire. It's mutable. And so whatever they think is going on, they're just going to speak their truth. So again, judgments might be coming out. Sagittarius is also about higher learning, teaching, publishing, learning new things. This can be a positive with this full moon lunar eclipse, to where we're needing to learn something new, or we're trying to educate ourselves in some new area. Maybe we're seeking that out. Maybe because of some of the quarantine, lifting that's been going on, that Sagittarius likes to travel. So we might want to just get out and see the world and have an adventure and get out there and travel. Be careful around the full moon lunar eclipse though, because again, people are more emotionally reactive. That can be when they're driving, when they're talking or speaking or making decisions. So we just want to make sure that we're safe. Now that full moon lunar eclipse is going to be opposing Venus and Gemini and challenging Mars and Neptune. And that's, again, part of that other story that's going on around us. So I think this is, the beginning, this first eclipse is the beginning of a lot of changes to come over the next few weeks. And not just when the eclipses happen, but for the weeks to come thereafter. It's going to intensify and speed up the unfolding of events and situations and changes and redirections in our life. And, that's a good thing. I mean, some of us might look at that as a little bit scary, and some of the changes might be things that we didn't expect, especially with Sagittarius. But all in all, this is bringing changes into our lives that are needed so we can redirect ourselves and expand, because Sagittarius, is ruled by Jupiter and they want to expand. So this is about whatever the changes are, that we're expanding into new horizons. We're expanding into new directions and new beginnings because, again, 2 weeks from Friday the 5th of June, we're going to have that new moon solar eclipse, which really kind of settles in some new beginnings. So a lot of endings and new beginnings, death and rebirth going on right now. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the cards. Now, you can see sometimes I have 2 cards that come out for one. You know, you see that a lot. But this time I had 3 cards come out at the end. They kind of fell out together onto the floor. And Spirit and my angels and guides said we need to look at all 3 of these. So let's go ahead, though, and start with the first card. The first card is the Knight of Raphael. Okay, this is like the Knight of Cups in the traditional tarot. It's a court card, and so it can signify other people in our lives, usually a dreamy and maybe romantic or emotional kind of man in our lives, but it's not always just signifying men. This can be signifying an aspect of ourselves as well. The Knight of Raphael says romantic, dramatic, poetic, introspective. Okay, again, this is the suit of cups, so it's all about our emotions. Okay. And at the bottom it says committed romantic relationships being swept off your feet, situations or topics that make your heart flutter. Okay, well, we do have Venus, you know, in a challenging situation to Mars on Tuesday. And then we have the Sun connecting with Venus on Wednesday as well. The full moon lunar eclipse is opposing Venus. So there may definitely, like I said, be some relationship dynamics going on. Now, this tends to suggest there's some something dealing with more committed, long-lasting, long-term kinds of relationships in our lives. It'll be interesting to see what the rest of the cards say. This does indicate just feeling like dreamy, feeling romantic. This could be somebody new popping into your life, or this could be maybe a surprise proposal, or, you know, surprise of some other kind that comes from someone else in your life. This, to me, by itself seems like it's a very positive card, but again, we'll see what the rest of the week holds, and I'm not suggesting that it won't be. In fact, I hope it is. I hope someone does come in and sweep you off your feet and whisper sweet nothings into your ear and brings you red roses and a box of chocolates. You know, I'm all about romance as a Libra, obviously. So I'm interested to see how this is going to play out. Now, the fact that Venus is retrograde can bring people back from the past, too. So you might hear from an old friend or an old lover. That is definitely a possibility with Venus here in the mix. And that might be why part of what we see here with Venus and Mars, and then on Saturday with the Sun and Mars, that it seems to be challenging. Because if you're in a relationship already, or you're trying to work something out with a current relationship, and somebody from the past pops back into your life, sometimes it poses a little bit of a challenge. So if it's not the actual person, this can also mean that energies from the past resurface. So old patterns from past relationships that, you know, show themselves in your current relationships, or show themselves to your own, you know, psyche and your own thoughts and belief systems. So it might just be about those patterns from the past resurfacing as well. Let's take a look at the next card here. The second card, ooh, love the Magician card. Major Arcana number 1, the Magician with Archangel Raziel. So this is all about you creating your own reality. This is about the energies being magical right now. This is about being able to take the energy, and especially with this full moon lunar eclipse, take that energy and utilize it for your best and highest interest. And in fact, Sagittarius, where this lunar eclipse is the visionary. Okay, Sagittarius can see the future, be prophetic, envision what it is they want, and they're actually pretty good manifestors, because as they focus on the highest potential and as they focus on something positive, and usually Sagittarians are very optimistic and happy-go-lucky, and they're known as a lucky sign too. Okay, again, it goes with this Magician card very well. So I would definitely utilize that full moon lunar eclipse energy to in your meditation, envision, send out your intentions before, the moon is full. Send those out because the moon is coming into its fullness, and that's going to be a powerful energy to send something out into the ethers, out into the spiritual realm with, to be able to manifest, basically. Of course, after that full moon lunar eclipse, that's when we're in that, again, completion, releasing, letting go, kind of phase. But you can use the beginning of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as we're leading up to this full moon lunar eclipse. Be the magician. Send out your thoughts, send out your ideas, send out your intentions. It says at the bottom, you can manifest the life that you want. What you need will magically appear. Successful beginnings. Wow, that's awesome. So by the way, too, I didn't mention this in the beginning of the reading, but this is the first full week of the new month of June. So you'll want to make sure to watch the monthly angel card reading for the month of June, too, and watch and see what the angels and our guides have to say for the whole month as well. All right, let's take a look at the first of these last three cards here. All right. Oh, the Ten of Michael. Okay, so the Ten of Michael, this is like the Ten of Swords in the traditional tarot. So this is dealing with the mind, our thoughts, and our belief systems. That's all mental energy. And the 10 is the last of the minor arcana before we get to the court card. So again, this is indicating some sort of conclusion energy with the number 10. Now it says at the bottom, a situation has ended and you are finally free. New opportunities for happiness will now follow. Put the past behind you. Again, this could be speaking of a situation in your life, an event, a circumstance that is coming to a conclusion, that's coming to an ending. But again, this is the Suit of Swords. So this can be about the ending of a way of thinking, the ending of a way of believing, the ending to some sort of karmic pattern that may have been with you from previous lifetimes that you brought forward into this life to work out. So don't think that something or, a relationship or a job or something like that, it doesn't necessarily mean that those things are ending, although those are possibilities too. But also look at the fact that there's something within you. There's a mindset within you, a pattern within you, an old energy within you that maybe has run its course now. You've learned what you needed to learn, and it's time to let that go and move away from that you're free from that now, and that there's now going to be new opportunities to move into some sort of new beginning. So again, whatever this might be signifying, it does say to put the past behind you. And of course, the magician was before that, and the magician was talking about successful new beginnings and using that magical energy. Here we need to let go of something. So let's look at the second of the three cards that came out. Let's see if I can get that out of there. Ooh, and then we have New Beginnings. This is Major Arcana number 20. In this deck, it's called New Beginnings. In the traditional tarot deck, this is called the Judgment card. And this is with Archangel Jeremiah. And Archangel Jeremiah is the archangel that helps us to review our past and our present so that we can kind of contemplate, learn what we need to, see what we need to about the past and the current, present, and then move on into some new energy. Again, some new beginning here. It says at the bottom, starting a new life, finding your purpose, a forgiving and compassionate review of the past. So it's not a past to beat up on yourself. It's not a past to judge yourself. Remember that Sagittarius energy can be a little judgmental, whether it's with others or with yourself or others towards you. We don't need to judge. We don't need to judge a situation or a person or ourselves. This is about just reviewing certain situations, circumstances, and energies, and then letting them go so we can move into starting this new life, so we can move into this new beginning, okay? This is, to me, a wonderful card. We actually have like a family of sorts or people here holding hands. They're walking towards the mountains. Archangel Jeremiah is kind of guiding them, leading them, or speaking with them, and they're moving into new territory. They're moving into some new adventure to me, and they're shadowed here, and they're walking kind of out of the shadowy space that's here, and once they get towards the mountains where they're facing, it starts to light up. It's more bright, it's more sunny, it's more optimistic here. So these new beginnings that are coming are going to be beautiful, wonderful, bright, light, happy, joyful new beginnings. And that's where we're being guided to head into. Oh, let's look at that last card here. Let me see if I can put this in here without it all falling away. And the last card, wow, another major arcana, the Wheel of Fortune. Major arcana number 10. And actually that number 10 energy is the vibration, the universal month vibration of the month of June in general. June is a 10 universal month. And that number 1 of the 10, if you add 1 and 0 together, the 1 is about new beginnings and new birth. The Wheel of Fortune is about, well, it says new beginnings right down there in the bottom, but it's about a karmic shift of energy, that's for sure. And wow, we have Archangel Jeremiah again. That is interesting. So Major Arcana 20, Archangel Jeremiah. Major Arcana 10, the Wheel of Fortune, Archangel Jeremiah again. And it says new beginnings, the end of delays, and a change in direction that offers happiness. I almost feel like this could be the whole month of June reading. And I feel like that these cards are not just speaking of this week, but these cards are speaking of perhaps the energies of the weeks to come, because this week is the initiation of the eclipses. This week initiates that full moon lunar eclipse, which is again followed by 2 more eclipses. So I feel like, again, these energies aren't necessarily going to happen all at once, but we might see glimpses of it. We might see some things shifting for sure. We might see some endings and conclusions and the beginning of some new beginnings and new birth and new directions here. And whatever the new directions is, it's certainly going to be something positive and something wonderful here. Let's take a look at the archangel that came out back here to guide us for the week. Okay, this is Spread Your Wings with Archangel Ariel. I always love to get this card. It's just so beautiful how she's in that pose and her wings are outspread and she's looking up with confidence towards the future. It says at the bottom, do not hold back right now. The timing is perfect and you're ready to soar. Okay, so we're moving again into something new, something beautiful. We're ready to soar. We're ready to fly. We're ready to expand our energies. We're ready to move into a sense of confidence and courage and abundance and prosperity and new blessings. And again, it may not happen all at once, but definitely Archangel Ariel is here this week to help us take the next step towards that as we move through the next, I'd say, 2 or 3 months here, you know, with the eclipses ending the first week in July. But like I said, the eclipses are going to be an ongoing energy that affects us for the next few weeks, if not few months to come. So get ready and spread your wings. Get ready to fly and soar. All right, let's put that back here, and then let's take a look at what your special message card is, depending on your stone of choice. Again, I'm using my astrology cards, and I'm using them because of the eclipse, okay? And I tend to pull this particular deck out when we're having eclipses or something hugely prominent or powerful, astrologically speaking. And I'm just giving it a quick shuffle off camera here, as you can probably hear. And, okay, so the first stone of choice was the Sonora Sunrise Sunset. Sonora, or the Sunrise Sunset Chrysocolla. Special message of guidance for Sunrise Sunset Chrysocolla. I open my eyes, this one's popping out. Solar eclipse. Interesting, everyone. So if you chose that Sonora Sunrise Sunset Chrysocolla, you have master number 44, solar eclipse. It says revolution. So right off the bat, I know that something's definitely happening between this full moon lunar eclipse for you and 2 weeks from the 5th of June, which would make it about the 19th of June when we have our solar eclipse at 0 degrees of Cancer. Okay, this time period is hugely important to you. You got solar eclipse though, and solar eclipses go with new moons, new beginnings, planting new seeds, looking for fresh starts. So I want to say your angels and guides are gearing you towards that end. Whatever is going on with you this week and this lunar eclipse, they're saying get ready for the new beginning. Start thinking about, start intending, start contemplating, maybe even start making a list of what it is that you want to give birth to. What changes do you want to see? Okay? The death and rebirth energies are strong for you. And revolution, what does that mean? Having some sort of aha moment, is what I think of when I think of that word. You're also, I feel like a warrior energy. I feel like this warrior energy, like I've had enough is enough. I'm ready to move into my life path, my destiny path. I'm ready to soar, I'm ready to fly, I'm ready to be who I'm supposed to be. I'm ready to evolve. I'm ready to just have abundance and prosperity and joy and happiness in my life. So this is a time. These eclipses are important for you. I think they're important for everybody, but you'll definitely want to do some sort of full moon and then new moon and then next, full moon. These eclipses, as far as intentions, rituals, lighting candles, speaking, dancing, meditating, whatever it is that you feel drawn to do. Get ready for this new beginning to be highlighted. Get ready for this to me, the solar eclipse. Look at the darkness as like a void. It's like a void or a blank slate that you can create anything that you want to. The magician says you're the creator of your reality, and you can take the energy and you can create anything you want to, because now we're kind of in this void. You're going to be in a completion phase, releasing and letting go, and then you're going to be in this new beginning phase, and you can recreate yourself in your life any way that you would like to do so. Very, very exciting, very powerful there. All right, so for the people that chose the mango quartz, Mango quartz. This one keeps drawing my attention. Mango quartz people. Scorpio, I transform, okay? So it's not that we have any planets in Scorpio right now. Well, no, I don't think so. But it doesn't matter. The Scorpio energy is about transformation, death and rebirth, regeneration, transmutation, evolution, elimination, transcending, okay? I mean, it's a very powerful energy. And again, I think because of these eclipses and the energies that we're moving into, you're going to start to see this death and rebirth energy in your life. You're moving into some huge transformation. Remember that Scorpio is the only sign of the zodiac that rules three things. It rules the scorpion, the lowest vibration of Scorpio. It rules the eagle, which is kind of that middle of the road vibration. And it rules the phoenix. And of course, the phoenix is where we want to go with this, right? The phoenix flies into the sun, and from its ashes is born anew. And that's what you want to do, is you want to transform yourself right now. You want to transform yourself. You want to transform how you think, how you believe. You want to transform how you feel. You want to transform your life. Maybe you want to transform your relationships, your job, your career, your financial, situation. Whatever it is, transformation is strong right now this week for you. The number 20, the number 20 to me, number 2 means using your intuition. The number 2 is a very intuitive number, but it's also about balance. So I feel like you need to stay balanced during this transformative time. You need to use your intuition during this transformative time of death and rebirth. You need to allow those Scorpio energies to transmute the lower vibrational energies around you and within you, and then rise and transcend like the phoenix and move into a higher state of being, a higher state of understanding, a higher state of the next step or the next phase in your life. I love Scorpio energy, so don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. I just got an image of a snake, because when I think of a snake, I think of transformation as well, as far as an animal totem. So you might want to work with the actual energy of the scorpion or the phoenix, or maybe you want to work with snake energy, but definitely work with Scorpio energy. Call in the energy, the essence of Scorpio, and ask it to help to transform your life, yourself, and your beingness to whatever levels in your highest and best interest for the highest evolution and growth of your soul. All right, so let's look at the special message card for the Larimar people. Taking a deep breath. Larimar. Tuning in for Larimar. Okay, I'm not going to go fast. I'm going to wait till it shows or presents itself to me. Larimar people. Larimar. I'm going to close my eyes here for a minute. Larimar. Okay, this one kind of called my attention right here. Larimar. Oh, God, I can't believe it. Lunar Eclipse. Lunar Eclipse. These are all very powerful cards. Lunar Eclipse and change. Okay, well, we have a lunar eclipse this week, and we have another lunar eclipse on the 4th of July. So again, this is telling me that these powerful energies of the eclipses are helping to transform your life as well. The lunar eclipse happens to focus on completion energies a little bit more than the solar eclipse. The solar eclipse card that was for the Sonora Sunrise Sunset Chrysocolla people focuses more on what do you want to give birth to, what new energies, new intentions, or new beginnings do you want to give birth to. The lunar eclipse focuses more on completion, releasing, letting go, healing, change, as it says here. The number 43, I didn't talk about the number 44. I mentioned it with the solar eclipse people, so I'll go back to that in a minute. But the number 43 here, if you add it up, adds up to a 7. And the 7 is a very contemplative kind of energy. It's about going within, and just like the lunar eclipse would suggest, going within to do some healing, to do some inner contemplation, to find trust and faith in the situations and circumstances unfolding around you, to find trust and faith in yourself, trust and faith in the divine, and in your angels and guides as you move forward. Use discernment. The number 7 is about discernment. It's a mental and emotional and spiritual number all combined together. So we're doing a lot of healing on all of these levels within ourselves. There's a lot of changes going on. And I feel like this is, look at the imagery here, and I feel like this is going from one lunar eclipse to the next. This is, just showing the moon cycles, basically, of the waxing and waning moon. But I get the idea that you're not going to see the whole big picture of what this eclipse energy, at least this first eclipse energy, has for you until we get to after the second eclipse energy. Or, whatever the circumstances and situations in your life that are being affected by this eclipse energy. I feel like it's not going to be totally clear, or like it's not going to be totally done or like complete in some sense until after that July lunar eclipse. But there's lots of changes happening for you, a lot of changes that are coming. So again, stay balanced, call in your angels and guides for assistance. Very, very powerful energies here for all of you. Now, master number 44, this is about work, effort, determination, perseverance, and patience, and empowerment, because 4 + 4 = 8. So empowering yourself through patience and perseverance, I would say, is the message for that number. All right, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this weekly angel card reading. Wow, it was a powerful one, a very potent one. And to me, it's very exciting, these energies of change, to see what happens and where we're all led. And believe me, I go through the same challenges as you do, and the same fears and anxieties, kind of crop up. But I also, when I think about the eclipse energies, I feel excited for ourselves personally, for all of you, for the collective, for the collective of humanity and the planet as a whole, and intending that we're all moving in a brighter, more positive, more beneficial direction for our global family, as well as again, us as individuals. So Take care, everyone. Sending you lots of love and light and many, many angel blessings.